welcome, one and all. DaveWeLike in the house yet again. Yes. Today we're playing some League of Legends. Oh yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the game, shall we? Oh my. Oh, confirm. Yes. Ragazul. Sounds good enough for me. I'm playing on Sam's account, yes.
It's my account.
Hacking in the mainframe, bro. In the queue. Finding match. Estimated 1 minute and 24 seconds. Dang! Well, this is a great time to chat with you all. If you'd like to chat with me, use that chat room. I can see you. I'm DaveWeLike. If you don't know, I stream here on Mobcrush on Thursdays at 2 p.m. It's a fun time. Oh yeah. If only I could play the games well. You know, I'm working on it. Thank you. Thank you. That's why we switched back to League of Legends. I thought that went a little bit better than Apex. What's up? How you doing? Great? Cool. Use Mobcrush? Nice. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, Mobcrush allows you to stream everywhere, as we are doing right now. Whether or not you're on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, or the other places, Mixer. Wow. All of the places, aren't we? We're on Mobcrush. Hit us up. Follow us. Do that jazz. Shake what your mama gave you. And let's have a kiki. You know what? Match found. Ooh, I'm going to accept it. If only I was good at this game. If only I was good. I don't know. I think last time that I streamed League of Legends, I beat the tutorial. Barely. I clicked on accept. I think I did, didn't I? Well, anyway, we're going to get into this game, and it's going to be a lot of fun, right? Because we know what we're going to do. We got to choose our champion. We can only do one of them, or I guess they are unlocked, but I like that. Cool. That's great. This sounds cool, you know. Do we have to select more? No. Every other person has to select theirs. Okay, I got it. Take your sweet ass time, people. All right, let me go ahead and share on my story on Instagram that I'm live on the internet. What's going on, everybody? I'm live on the internet. Join me on Mobcrush, whether or not you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Mixer. I'll see you all soon. Bye. What's going on, everybody? I'm live on the internet. Boom, baby. Let's send it to my story. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. I'm feeling the love. Oh, it didn't send. Why not? Couldn't upload. Try again. Couldn't. Am I on the Wi-Fi? No, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. There's no cell signal, I guess. Oh, because I turned my thing on airplane mode. You got to turn your phone off of airplane mode. Now you know. All right, 14 seconds left. See, this is one of the things that's interesting about League of Legends, that it takes forever. Yo, the more you know. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, yeah. All right, we're going to get into this game very, very shortly. Cool, it posted. I will also Facebook story that. Do any of you Facebook story? It's a thing, I guess. Nobody does that, right? I got people who enjoy me on Facebook only. It's weird. It is weird. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, there are better platforms than this. It's okay. Facebook.com/DaveWeLike if you want to enjoy that magical website. But yeah, a lot of people follow me on Instagram and YouTube because I'm a personality. Anyway, I'm more of a personality than a gamer. Oh, snap. No, I've been playing games for a very long time. One of the very first games was The Seventh Guest. I've been playing Command and Conquer. I had a dope-ass match last night by myself, playing against the computer for an hour and 30 minutes. It was a challenge. It was. But it was so much fun. I love that game so much. But I do have problems streaming it because it's some emulated version on Origin. It's complicated. Anytime that you want to stream anything on Origin, it's complicated. Alright, well, we're still loading. Holy Toledo, people. This is a popular game, so I hear. I don't know why. This takes forever to get anything going. So what's up? Yeah, having a good day. Having a great day. Oh no. I don't feel good, Tony. What is this? The sparkle goodness. I'm on a green screen. Don't know if you know. It's green to me, invisible to you. Alright, this is fun. Thank you all for being here. All Sam of you. Woot. Represent, Sam. Represent. Sam, I'm doing it right? Is this how it really goes? Is that you just wait?
I don't remember. It's been so long since I played League of Legends.
I clicked and it disappeared.
This could be why I stopped.
Yeah, but okay, there we go. I'm loading.
Things?
Yeah, but we're not beginning yet.
Okay.
We can begin. No, we can't. Which character am I? Leveling up. Might as well. Oh, okay. Right click. There we go. I got it. I'm the one who floats. Yeah, it has been a while. Couple weeks. All right, we've got the summoners coming out eventually. I guess we're a summoner. I don't know. All right, we have turrets. That much I remember. Minions! Hey, D'Altalian Gaming. What's up with you? How you doing today? We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it right. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna kill somebody. That's so nice. Oh my goodness! The wolf guy came out of nowhere. Fire everything! Okay, get back.
Minions have spawned.
Alright, great. My minions have spawned. They're here to save the day. Here we go to save the day. Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun over here. Whenever somebody shows up. Where is everybody? It's quiet. Too quiet. What's this yellow thing? I'm not sure. It means something, right? Alright, my summoners, or whatever they're called. Minions. Minions are here. How you doing today? What's up with y'all? Thank you for watching us on Twitch. D'Altalian. Another Twitch guy! What up? How you doing today? You need to buy items, Dave! I have no idea how to do this. iPhone Tips 1. What's up with you? How do I buy items? What kind of items would you like me to buy? There's so many possibilities in the world, aren't there? I'm attacking. Ghost. No cost. Alright, alright. Yes. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Oh, no. There are too many people around here. Firing from a distance. That was a bad one. Okay, get my guy back. Oh, man. Not feeling it tonight. We are very close to dying. Horrible, horrible death. Alright, we got some more minions coming. What could I buy? That's corrupting potion. That sounds great. I don't know what that does. I clicked on it. Damn it! Ah, I died. It's okay. I'm figuring it out. Okay, I got plenty of warming totem. That sounds delicious. Hey! Look at all this wonderful. That's too much money. Undo that. Alright, let's go ahead and roll. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Say what? Looks like we got some action over here. Let's help out my guys. They're attacking one of the towers. Hey, Sam. He's chilling in the chat room. Hey, who? Oh, God. Hi, guys. I got this. Watch this. Ready? It's free. I could buy that today. I clicked on it. It didn't. Nothing happened. No. Oh well. Whatever. 350. Do we cross it? No, it's 250. Okay. Back from whence the came. Ra-da-da-da. What game would you all like us to stream here on Mobcrush? Cool. Oh, okay, we got that guy. So previously I was streaming some Apex. Wanted to switch it back over to League of Legends. I'm collecting the gold coins. Yes. Helping my little dudes go. Die, die, die. Level up. Oh, yeah. This guy. Let's go ahead and level up that one. Alright, we're at 450. Oof! Oof! Get him away from me! Oh, darn! Hey, LKD70 Solo. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. The Dark Soul provides the ability of the mana. It increases power as you kill enemies. Yes. Oh, this increases my movement. I kind of want to do that. Is that okay? Oh, RuneScape. Alright. I don't think I've ever played that before. It looks like we're doing okay on all fronts, I'd say. What do you guys think? As a noob to League of Legends, how am I doing? Rate me 5 out of 5. I say we're doing okay. Good teamwork, people. Uh-oh. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't. I don't know.
An enemy has been slain.
Level up! Wait, is that my friend? I can't tell. Yeah, I think so. Oh, cool. Look at that. It's a yo-yo! Oh! Bleed purple. The purple goodness. Love that purple juice. Would you go away? Excellent. How are we doing? We got some coins to spend. Alright, what do we got? 600 bucks? You get that. Nope, we can't. We gotta wait for these guys, I guess, to unveil. Alright, 200 more coins or so. What is this? So many things to click on.
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah, baby. I like it like that. How am I doing on my health? It's terrible. Well, level that up. We're getting there, people. Doing it right. How are we doing down here? We might need to spawn down here. Yeah. Alright, come on.
Enemy killing spree.
Seems like they need some help. Oh, they could actually use some help over here, too. Everybody needs a little help. Alright, we got the money. Okay, increases attack damage and ability. Sounds great to me if we could, but I can't. Why? Oh, 3,000. I don't have that. I know how to do the math. I can't buy this for some reason either.
Your turret has
I
been
bought
destroyed.
too many things. I'm too epic. What can I say? Where am I? This guy. Oh, we are definitely not doing good here.
Enemy rampage.
Oh, there's too many enemies down there. They're coming for us. One pair of boots, another pair of boots. Oh, ta, 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 ta. We got 2 people down there. That's fine. There's plenty. They're attacking our tower. No! What's up, chat room? What are you chatting about? I see you over there. Come on, minions. Solo. So low. Welcome back. Welcome back. How are you doing today? See you later, Solo. Have a magical day doing the things that you do best. What are they? What do you do? Be awesome.
Enemy killing spree.
Oh! I was doing good until this happened. It's so painful. I got a pair of boots. PUBG. Nice! Which one do you like more, PUBG, Fortnite, or Apex? Alright, see ya. Have a magical day.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, I've got a heal. Didn't even see that. Alright, here we go, here we go. A celestial blessing. Get him back.
You have slain an enemy.
Excellent. That is how you do it. Hey, what up? Smile. Is that? Am I saying your name right? Hopefully. Dara G. How you doing? Smale, what's up with you? How you doing today? Having a wonderful day. I'm DaveWeLike here on Mobcrush. Oh yeah. Use Mobcrush to play your games? Woohoo! Playing some League of Legends right now. I think I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm slowly but surely killing everybody. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Level it up. Bless. I bless you. Oh. Oh man. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, looks like we're crushing them. Excellent. Get back, get back, get back.
An enemy is dominating.
Buy it all! Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. There's so much things to buy. Like, nothing at the moment. I could buy things later. Oh, I could get this. No, I can't get it. I have too many boots. These boots were made for walking. Oh no, the enemies are coming for us. Which one was it to heal?
Enemy rampage.
Oh man, gotta use our tower to help us out here a little bit. Ah, we're so close. What's up? What's up? What's up? Heart, heart, heart. How you doing today? Having a wonderful day, are you?
An enemy is godless.
Help. Need help.
An enemy has been slain.
Not looking good. Actually, down here, definitely need some help. Gotta get that tower okay.
Shut down. An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
No! For my minions to come on by and help us out here. Alright, they're on the run, they're on the run.
Has been slain.
Excellent. Doing okay right now. Wish we could get that turret back, but looks like it is down for the count. Oh, he came from nowhere! Gotta get back. Holy. Yes, that is awesome. Get out of there! Come on, you gotta go. Keep running. Oh,
Enemy
what?
killing
What?
spree.
It wasn't moving. Oh, level that up. Oh, yeah. More boots, shall I? How do I get rid of that boot? I don't want it. Sell it.
An ally has been
That boot.
slain.
Oh, yeah. Now
An
that's a
enemy
boot.
is legendary.
So many. All right.
Your turret has been destroyed.
No. Ah,
Your turret
No!
has been destroyed.
it's gonna be okay. We'll be all right. Him, kill him.
An enemy is legendary.
must have heavy boots. Come on, boy. Doing good with these. Hey, 50 Shades of Ray! How you doing today? Dave, I'd beat your ass in League. Yes, I'm sure you would. I am a noob. I haven't played in 4 years. And I'm dead. Thanks for distracting me, Ray. Damn it. It's okay. It's alright. How you doing, Ray? Welcome back. Ray's been watching me for 9 years, since 2010. Good old Sam Proof in the background over there. Yeah, I think I've been watching him for about the same time too. Weird. Challenge accepted. Oh yeah. Hey, Anga, how you doing today? Where's my boy at? Come on, let's get it going. We need you. We're doing good every 2 seconds, and then we lose. What is that about, Ray? Show me the way. What do I need to do to win this game? I gotta get another boot. That's what I gotta do. I don't know. What are you streaming on besides the YouTube? I am on YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, as well as Facebook right now, all under the Mobcrush handle. Oh, we just ran by all these enemies. What the hell?
An enemy is legendary.
Legendary.
Enemy killing spree.
Cool.
Your turret has been destroyed.
What? We are totally losing. Why are you such a loser, Dave? Ray, really? Keep it down there.
Shut
So
down.
mean to me. Shut down. That's how I feel in my relationship. Always shut down. My feelings don't matter. Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go. Ray, did you enjoy the latest Instagram post? Thank you. I know, it's a great one. That ass. It's beautiful.
Your turret
All right,
has
let's
been
go.
destroyed.
I just realized on your phone that you can do like GIFs. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. It's so fun to make a GIF. It's better than a video. It's different. It's a different style. We gotta get my guy back. I don't want to lose him. You're a loser. Yo, it's dead at work. Oh, what do you do? What do you work at? Chilling, watching the stream, working double suck. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Ray. I thought you were in... Aren't you still in college? I am going to destroy this turret eventually. Stay tuned. Oh! He came out of nowhere again. How do they do that? Oh, so painful. I love having this, it's called a stream deck. I get to push buttons. It's fun. The loss is our gain, yes. Sure, their loss, their loss. Man, I'll figure this out. With my leg, what are you doing? Oh, you took a semester off, good for you, good for you. I agree with that, unless you have student loans, and then be careful. Right? Don't you have to go to school in order for them not to count against you or whatever it is?
Shut down.
So what are you doing? You're just working? I'm playing video games. I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life too. I'm a pro player at losing. Now, I completely missed out. As you know, I never played this game. I played, like, Minecraft, and I couldn't even figure out that game either. I'm a company. Where's my future? Hey, you're doing it right.
Enemy killing spree.
We will get more people to use this wonderful service called Mobcrush. Slowly but surely.
An enemy is unstoppable.
Crush all things.
Enemy
That's what we
double
do.
kill.
That's how we roll here at Mobcrush. We're crushing it, bro. I just need more minions. I really don't want to go with this initial group. They're just gonna lose and die, aren't they? I just have that feeling. I've got a feeling that Dave's gonna lose this legend. Alright, I got this. Okay, we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back. We're getting hammered. Is this a heal? Heal at no cost. Myself, please. Thank you. Ghosting. Wait for more people to come by. Am I doing great, Ray? I think so. Heal!
A summoner has disconnected.
Level up.
An
Oh,
enemy
don't
has
mind
been
if I do.
slain. An enemy
I don't even know
has
what
been
that is.
slain. Enemy
Oh, it
rampage.
happens every time. He just comes in and crushes me. We are less than halfway on health. Hey, what up?
A
Level your
summoner has
R.
been connected.
How does one do? Oh, there's the R. Divine Judgment. Namaste. That's your ult. Oh, cool. Didn't know that. I've got ultimate powers. Also, there is a very little delay
An
on this
enemy
stream.
has been
Yeah, good thing
slain.
I don't owe too much in student loans. We're going to pay them off. Nice, good.
Shut
I think you
down.
should pay off your student loans as quickly as possible. Don't let them gain interest for sure. Whatever you do.
An enemy is unstoppable.
Yeah, I generally went to a pretty cheap college. A state school. That's the way to do it, bro. If you feel like going to college. Apparently now they have like what, esports leagues at colleges and everything, so I'm just too old. I'm just too old, man. I could have been an esport player in college. Could have been doing something with my life. Ugh, Mom. Go mid. The Ranger is there. He will win! Okay. I'm trying to figure it out what you mean by this. Oh, I see him. That's very dangerous. Is he? He's an enemy. Dang. Yo, boy.
An
Keep
ally
going.
has been slain.
Run. All right, we got him. We got him on the run.
A summoner has disconnected.
Oh no!
He's dominating.
He does it
You have
every
been
time.
slain.
He's so fast. My character's like, I'm gonna fight. No, run away. I'm telling you to run away.
Shut down.
Yeah, my friends play Rainbow Six Siege for his. No way. That's crazy. That is insane. He plays Rainbow Six Siege for his school. Hey, does he get free tuition for that because he's on a sports team? Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh no, they're at my base here. God, you take forever to respawn, huh? I could buy something, right? I know I did. I can't. Cool, I can buy that. Excellent. How are we doing? Oh, he is totally here. No, that's my teammate.
Enemy killing spree.
What is going on? Sam, your characters stink. I'm playing on Sam Proof's account right now, okay? It's not me. It's not the Dave Meister. He gets free dormitory and a jersey. Hey. Yeah, that's why I did one of my jobs was head of my dorm. It's like, hey, free dorm? That's pretty nice. I'll
An
take it.
ally has been slain.
How many roommates does he have? I had 3.
An ally
It was
has
like a
been
mini
slain.
apartment. It was pretty cool.
An enemy has been slain.
Alright, looks like we're gonna make this happen. Oh, yeah. Oh, how are we doing on this end? Nah, we gotta help out our minions.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Where? Oh, this guy. Phew. Monkeys. Oh,
Your
Jesus.
inhibitor has been destroyed.
Where are my teammates?
You have been slain.
I can't. How do I get out of this? Take the cannons. Your team needs you. You will be temporarily banned from future games. Ah, they just suck. My teammates suck. It's okay. Be a team player, Dave. I'll just keep my hands crossed. I can't do anything anyway. Come on, respawn. What can I get? Nothing. I can buy that. Ooh, I have no idea what it does.
Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Rampage.
It's just so sad watching this happen unfold.
Shut down.
We have an enemy over here.
An ally has been slain. Unstoppable.
Alright, we're coming back. We're coming back. We're gonna do it. Level it up. Oh, I didn't level up my R. I'm terrible at this game. So sorry, guys. So sorry. I meant to level up the R. As you suggested.
Shut down.
Shutting down.
Enemy double kill.
No. I'm surprised we're still in the game. It's the sad part. How did we win? Keeping them at bay. We're doing great over here now. Which is surprising. And over here, it's just the front needs some fortification.
An ally has been slain.
Oh no. Here we go. I can't help him out yet. Haven't been spawned yet. Alright, cool. Just got back in the game.
You have slain an enemy.
Did I just do something? I just did it! I killed somebody! I feel very powerful right
Enemy
now. Let's go on a
rampage.
rampage, shall we? Dave, would you wear some Yeezys? What is a Yeezy? But yes, sure. I agree with that idea.
An enemy has been slain.
I'd wear anything for a nickel. Gotta update my 1930s reference. I think it needs to be $5, right? Inflation happens. Cool. Let me know what size you are on. I'll surprise ya. A large! I'm not that big. I was gonna say fat.
down.
Not fat, right? Hey, Maximilius Army. How you doing, Maximilius? Maximilianius must something. I can't really read your name. I'm in the middle of a match right now, and I am doing great. I finally killed somebody, and I feel like a trooper. We gotta watch it. Watch it, bro. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. Keep going. Alright, that was
An enemy has been slain.
enemy slain.
Your inhibitor is respawning soon.
Oh no.
An ally
Where
has
am I?
been
Where am
slain.
I? Got it. No shoe size. Oh, it's a shoe size. Oh, I've got big feet.
An enemy
Ah,
is
no, Ray
unstoppable.
distracted me with my big feet. I don't know, 11, 12, something like that. Damn it, Ray. What can I buy?
Your
What can I buy?
inhibitor has been destroyed.
Might as well buy something that I have no idea what it is. I bought it. It was worth it. Oh, looks like we're having problems again. Nice, Anga. I speak English. Do you speak English? Maybe you could translate it. Google Translate. That way we can talk. Tomo arigato, Mr. Robato. How you doing? Ah. We're getting there. We're getting there. Eventually I'll be respawned, right? No? Okay.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree. Shut down. Enemy killing spree.
Aw, man.
Enemy double kill.
It's me against him. Of course he was going to win. You know what? I'm trying to figure this all out, and I think I figured it out. Translation. Ooh. I'm from Indonesia. Where are you from? Thank you for translating, Sam. I'm from America. We are right now in the best place to be, the Mobcrush Studios, playing some League of Legends. I'm still trying to figure it all out. This is my second time playing the game, okay? Don't judge me too hard. I think I can figure this out real fast, though. I can do it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm respawned! Woohoo!
A summoner has disconnected. Shut down. Shut down. A summoner has reconnected.
Reconnected.
Your turret has been destroyed.
What? Oh no!
An ally
Kicking some
has been
butt
slain.
over here, down here, but then the base is being destroyed, which is fine. It'll be nice to be able to just restart and begin a new match, because there's like no way of us winning at this point. I don't know why they don't just call it. Yeah, here we go. Alright, I got this. I got this.
Defeat.
Alright, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. Defeat, but they can never defeat my heart, okay? Gotta keep it going. Oh, anyway, welcome. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Alright, here we go. The honor teammate. My teammates weren't that good. I don't know why I'm honoring them. Let's go ahead and play again now. Fight match. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun. This just in, ladies and gentlemen. I love how it zooms in. Alright, it's going to take about 1 minute and 27 seconds. So now is the time to chat. As we chat, I'm DaveWeLike. You're watching Mobcrush. Whether or not you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Mixer, or Twitch, you're watching the same thing. Most people are watching right now on the YouTube. Alright. Hi, shout out to the YouTube crew. Alright, I'm going to come on in and crush everybody in less than 20 minutes. Alright? I'm going to accept that. Yeah. Challenge accepted. You don't believe me, do you? But I know what to do. I figured this game out. I haven't figured it out at all. I know what to do. Don't judge me. Still finding a match. Okay. I thought we had a match. Apparently we don't. It happens. Match. Yes! I accepted it. Please! Please! Cool. I'll choose the same thing. Lock in. Choose your loadout. Ghosting. I don't understand the idea. Your champion gains increased movement speed and can move through units for 10 seconds. Got it. Or heal. Grants 30% movement speed for 1 second. That sounds fine. I don't know. All sounds good. Sorcery. Domination. Let's do it. I like the word domination. Dun 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 dun. We're loading. As we get into the match, want to say thank you to our sponsors. We have none. And did you know that once a Xionat gangster, Warwick, became a monster after being transmuted by Singed?
Bet you didn't know that.
I bet you had no idea. I had no idea. But there's a backstory here to this game. What's it called? The League of Legends.
The lulls.
The lulz. It's a real in-depth backstory. You gotta read, but nobody does anymore. We're gamers. We're here to play. Good thing is that it takes forever to load, so that's nice. Okay, this is wonderful. We're at 94% loaded. It says so at the bottom. Over there, right around here. Thank you all for being here, all 0 of you. If you'd like to, you can chat with me. I'll be here for the next, I don't know, about 15 or so minutes. So I've got 15 minutes to beat the match. Come on, load. It's not my fault. I wonder why it takes forever to load. Like, well, I've watched plenty of League players, and I'm always like, what is taking forever? This is so boring to watch nothing happen. It's quite confusing. This is why I'm thankful for Fortnite and Apex, where generally speaking, it's pretty fast at getting you back into the next game.
Play some Fortnite next time.
If I was good at that, yeah.
You're saying you're good at this?
I'm saying I'm better at this than Fortnite, believe it or not. Believe it! I can do this. Ooh, look at it. What about it? Alright, so I'm here for another 15 minutes or so, and after that, Nicole and Niraj will be on here to play some Super Muddy Man! The world awkwardest and most frustrating game. Did you know that? I had no idea. It's a very good sentence. It is. No, it's okay. It's really awkward. It's fun. It's a good game. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Level it up.
Minions have spawned.
Minions? Come on, minions. Hey, what up, Dave? Pay me a visit to Supreme LA. Of course. Are you anywhere near there? I don't even know where you live. You live in Michigan or so, don't you? They're on the run. Doing it right. I told you. I can do things. I can't. Well, we gotta get back. We gotta get back. Yeah, I love Michigan, but I'm still trying to go to Supreme LA. Good. Make it happen. What's holding you back? I don't know what Supreme LA is. I just assume that he's meaning Los Angeles, and he's saying that LA is Supreme. There's a Supreme store. It's like a clothing. Okay, okay. Yeah, I've heard of Supreme, the clothing brand. But, why? Why do you want to go to a clothing store? Maybe. Maybe. Rayon? Rayon. Yeah, 50 Shades of Rayon. Get it? The clothing material. No. All right, where the hell am I? Oh, there I am. Where's Michigan? Oh. Oh, we're in Michigan. Now where is Michigan? I thought it was a joke. The joke's on me.
You have been slain.
Apparently you're not supposed to get slain in this game? What's that about? Ann Arbor is a cool area, and myself and the friends go to school on. Nice.
Enemy killing spree. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain.
I don't understand why my character doesn't listen to me sometimes. I've got a mind of my own. When is Shenmue 3? Oh yes, of course I'm going to be streaming Shenmue 3 whenever that comes out. Keeps getting delayed. It was supposed to be this year, right? We'll see, we'll see. I can't wait for Shenmue 3 to happen. I was trying to play Shenmue 2 and stream that, but it's such a long game, and I'm like, I've played this game before, I don't think I'll bother. But playing Shenmue 1 and streaming that experience was so much fun. It was a good time. Lots of memories. I probably played Shenmue 1 a lot more than I ever played Shenmue 2. I don't know why that is. Action adventure kind of a thing. Story driven, you know? It's a wonderful love story between Ryo Hazuki and Mio, whatever her name is.
Enemy rampage.
It got the duck racing. Shenmue 2 has a duck racing. Yes. It's a classic moment in video game history. Going up the middle is not helping us. We are very evenly matched, apparently. When can I buy things? I don't understand that. Like, I have enough money, but I can't actually buy anything. Buy this stuff, I guess. Nope, I can't buy these. Why not? I gotta have this? What does that do?
Enemy killing spree. An enemy is unstoppable. An ally has been slain. You have been slain.
Are you still a vegan? Yes, I try to be every Tuesday. What about you? Did you give up on that too? Were you ever? Yeah, I still eat my hemp seeds and chia seeds. Actually, I found this funny thing at Trader Joe's, which was that they mix seeds in with honey, and I'm like, okay, let's try that out. And then I almost had like diabetic coma. I'm scared to say I'm saying that one. It was too much honey. It was so much honey. It was good though. It was a good idea. If you know, have a little bit.
Enemy kills.
Oh, you were veggie. Nice. And then you gave up. Why'd you give up? It's easy. I did find some what is it? Vegan mass gainer, which was an interesting idea because that's something that's hard to find. A lot of the vegan protein shakes are very low on calories. And then I did see like soy or whatever they're called has like now a chocolate milk thing that you can buy, which was tasty. Oh, keto, nice. How'd that go for you? I say you do you. If you want to have a pizza, go have a pizza. I like cauliflower breading though for pizza. I think it's okay. I don't have a problem with it.
Enemy rampage.
I thought I'd be doing better. I mean, I guess we are doing okay right now. But I do think the enemies are coming for us. It's very close over here. We've got one guy protecting. Nobody's over here. I don't know which one to help.
Enemy rampage.
Lost so much weight quick, but then trying to gain muscle. Yeah. Well, you got to be careful, man. It's constant back and forth, but the bottom line is just go to the gym. Is that what you do?
Enemy is dominating. Your
Okay.
turret has
Okay.
been destroyed. An enemy is unstoppable.
You're not doing football anymore,
Enemy
right?
triple kill. Your turret has been destroyed.
Sorry.
An enemy is godlike.
I don't know. I should just give up on this game. I thought I could try and win, but I can't. What am I doing wrong? Everything.
An enemy is legendary.
Yeah. That's what happens. You like miss sports and then I could do something, but then why would I?
Your turret has been destroyed.
I get it. Oh, dude, our turret got destroyed over here too?
An
Dang,
enemy
man.
is unstoppable. An enemy is legendary. An
Ah.
enemy is legendary.
Popped out of nowhere. Bought some food.
Enemy is
Skateboarding.
legendary.
Yeah, it totally does. You're not supposed to fall when you skateboard, right? Is that how that works? I don't know.
An enemy is legendary.
Looks like this turret has seen its last day.
An enemy is dominating. An enemy is legendary.
Oh, the turret's
Has
gone.
been destroyed.
Well, I'm a person who likes to give up.
An enemy is godlike.
Completely. This sucks. Oh, it's not me at all. I would like to wrap up this stream on a better note, but gotta go. Got things to do. I have nothing to do, but I gotta go because we've got some people coming on over. I'm DaveWeLike. Thanks for watching. Hey, Evan, where the heck have you been? I've been streaming. No, it's so late. Anyway, so I stream here on Thursdays, I believe. So come on by if you feel like it around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me know also what you'd like me to play next if you have any suggestions. And don't go anywhere because Nicole and Niraj, they're coming on by in a few minutes. They're going to start streaming their wonderful session very soon. Another stream is coming on up.
An
I'll see
enemy
you all
is
soon. You can
legendary.
follow me again on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz. I'm DaveWeLike across the internet. Shazam! Oh, you get bigger when you Shazam. I'm big! Okay, see y'all. Oh, rage quit.
Oh, is it still going?
Yeah.
Taking it over. Okay, yeah, now I'm gonna
Yeah.
end this,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do another stream right after this.
An enemy is
So
legendary.
stick around. We'll be back in like 5 minutes.